Hi friends! I am in Mexico at a fan event for Brandi Carlile, having the bucket list week of my dreams. I'm here with the Bramley, just a whole bunch of warm, beautiful people. There's incredible food, incredible weather, scenery. The Atlantic Ocean is right there. I'm just losing my mind with how much joy I am experiencing this week. Oh, and I really needed it because, you know, it's been a long pandemic, and 2021 brought some particular hardships to my family that left me feeling pretty depleted. And so when I'm feeling that way, feeding my senses with things that feel like joy is a way that I can restore. It's like when you're in a video game and you find a health package. My health package this week is fresh fruit, eaten on the beach, surrounded by beautiful people, and listening to this music that makes me feel so good. So I hope you find some way to add a little spark of joy to your life so that you can keep going. You know how you'll see like business gurus and influencers tell some story about how they did the rise and grind and they worked their ass off, and to reward themselves, they're going to have some extravagant purchase to show that they made it. You know, like they got the house, they got the car, they got the Louis Vuitton bag, that kind of thing. And every time I hear that message, I just feel like people are telling on themselves. Because I think about the words of John Candy in Cool Runnings. In that movie, he plays a coach who cheated in the Olympics and now has a second chance. And when one of his new players from the Jamaican bobsled team asked him why he cheated, he talks about how he had made needing to win his whole identity, and how a gold medal is a beautiful thing, but if you're not enough without it, you'll never be enough with it. That is what I think when I see those hustle culture warriors. Like, oh, bless your heart. You don't know. The Louis Vuitton purse is not going to fill the hole in your heart. If you're not enough without it, you will never be enough with it. I started this tradition a while back where this week I find some way to do something special for my body, some way to reward my body through my senses, a million different ways. And I do it this week because this is actually my son's birthday week. But the thing is, he is autistic and finds literally everything about birthdays to be a nightmare sensory trigger. So his way of celebrating it is for people just to leave him alone. So we do. And I spend this day in gratitude for my body that survived that experience. So I find some way to do something special for my senses. And I call these my beloved days because my body's name is Beloved. So on great years like this, it's like this incredible week I'm having in Mexico. Some weeks it's just ice cream in the tub. You know, it can scale. But I want to say thanks to her. My son Atticus is my self-care guru, and he just taught me another lesson this morning. I was late for the bus, I'm hustling to get him ready, and he was not happy with that. He wanted to be the one who said what was happening to his body. At 14, seems reasonable, but, you know, we gotta make the bus happen. So what he did was he changed the routine for himself. Instead of like resisting everything, he just changed the routine. That's how he found some autonomy for himself. So he didn't deny himself the care he needed. He just found a way to take some control of it. And I just thought, how often am I neglecting my self-care tasks because I feel resentful? Because I feel resentful I don't have more control over my life, because I don't have more support, because I'm taking it out on myself because I'm mad about something else. But when I feel that need for more autonomy, I could change my tasks instead of punish myself. You bet. Okay, let's talk bedtime procrastination, because I think a lot of us understand that resentful feeling that keeps us awake and scrolling on our phone instead of getting the sleep we need. We resent that we have to get up in the morning, that we're not more in control of our time. So we take control of the time we have and then don't use it in a way that's actually going to help us long term. And I think that's true across all kinds of self-care tasks. You know, if we aren't in control of a lot, then we will take control of the things we are in control of. And often we try to control that through neglect. And what I'm saying is we can also control it through change. So instead of bedtime procrastination, maybe you have a very long, luxurious routine that you look forward to. Maybe it's a sensory diet of sheets and special jammies. Maybe it's a quiet meditation practice, but whatever it is, it's something that you choose and that you're in control of. One of the principles that makes up the mind of body loyalty is conduct experiments. So this principle is just acknowledging that the only way to find your self-care solutions is through trial and error, because nothing affects us all the same way. So you're going to have to try some things and see how it affects you and then make your next choice accordingly. And as soon as you get this figured out for one phase of your life, your body's going to change. You're going to age. Maybe you have a kid. Maybe you find some health condition you have to treat. But your body's going to continue to change throughout your entire life. So throughout your entire life, you're going to have to continue to conduct experiments on the self-care choice you're making, but also in how you are able to incorporate that in your life. You're probably going to have to conduct some experiments on like what time of day you do it, if you habit stack it and what you do it with, what supports you build around it. You just got to conduct experiments, and that's how you find it. This comment is extremely relatable to me. I have been a very big night owl for most of my life. This has just recently changed because brains and bodies are weird. But for most of my life, I was extremely a night owl. And my morning was just absolutely unfunctional. But one thing I found that helped is to just lean into the times and ways I was functional. So that means I gave as much responsibility as I could to nighttime me. So maybe your nighttime skincare routine is the involved one, and in the morning you just put on sunblock. Or maybe you spend your time in the evening doing closing duties like Casey Davis from Domestic Blisters talks about. You set yourself up for success in the morning. I mean, maybe you're even like laying out slippers and clothes, and so there's as few barriers as possible in the morning. But just work with where your strengths are. A quick lesson in how to check in with your body if this is a foreign concept to you, because it sure was to me. So the first thing I do is I put one hand on my chest and one hand on my guts. And this is a way of trying to tap into those bodily sensations, my heartbeat, my breath, my bowel movements and sounds, just to feel what my body is feeling, because those things aren't always linked up from here to here. So hands can help. So then take a few deep breaths, and I ask myself, what do you need this morning? And the answer might be rest, or a certain kind of food, or a certain kind of movement, or, you know, reaching out to a friend. Whatever it is that my body needs for self-care, the answer will kind of come floating up to my unconscious as soon as I'm in a place to hear it. I just love when you guys ask me questions. This is so helpful. Okay, first, if you haven't been screened for mental health issues and you have access to that care, start there. Because losing interest in something you used to love is a very common mental health symptom, and there's supports that can help you. Now, there's lots of other barriers as well. So depending on the barrier will guide the solution that you need. Some things that have been barriers for me around hobbies is having that hobby associated with something that I didn't really want to deal with, like, say, grief, or sorrow, or a version of myself that isn't around anymore. So in that case, I find a brand new hobby that has none of those associations and can just be for fun. The other barrier I experience is a broad category I'll call time/energy/overwhelm. And the thing that helps me in those circumstances is finding something that I can do in very discrete chunks. 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because every day I do that 2-minute thing, I'm making progress, but also I won't be overwhelmed. I'm working on this theory that if you hate your body or have a whole lot of negative feelings about your body, I think it stems from 3 sources. One is fat phobia, which we are all very carefully trained into. The next is disability, which a whole lot more of us are living with than we are acknowledging, especially in 2022. And the third is some kind of trauma that has made it so that your body has not been a safe place for you. Some kind of trauma, and there's a whole long list of what this could be: interpersonal violence, sexual assault, childhood abuse, extensive bullying. Like, there's a lot of things that can happen to us along the way that teach us our body's not a safe place to be. So that's kind of what I think. I don't know. I'd really like to hear if you think I'm right about that.
Right, guys, excuse the face, excuse the fur on this dressing gown. That looks...
Alright, I wasn't planning on posting today. I look like garbage. I'm in my... First and foremost, if you say anything about my hair, you're anti-black. I took my braids down.
Okay, I know I look like shit, but I literally cannot stop talking about this.
Hi, friends. So 2 things. 1, yes, I just woke up. I know I look like shit. I haven't got glam for the day.
Excuse the pilgrim look, but it don't matter how old I get.
Hi, I'm disgusting. If you're wondering why I look so gross...
Ignore this. But listen, Valentine's... Nobody mind my appearance.
I've been talking about going at the pace of your nervous system. And if you are trying to establish new habits or overcoming burnout or dealing with reentry anxiety, going at the pace of your nervous system will allow you to address these things in a way that's sustainable. But if you have a nervous system, like mine, that is not always accurate about the level of threat I'm under, it can be challenging to distinguish between the nervous system cues I should respect and the nervous system cues I should challenge. So how I resolve this for myself is that I do both. I respect those cues and I challenge them. Because you can't ignore those body cues. You need those. Those are telling you vital information about your body. So you need to respect it and also push it just a little bit forward. Like if you were lifting weights, you start with low reps and few sets. So you just need the nervous system equivalent of low reps. When I start talking self-care, a really common response I get is somebody saying, "Isn't that selfish?" And this time, you know what popped through my head was, it's not selfish. It's all the way self. Self-care is asserting that you are a self. It is asserting your own dignity, that you are not just a care robot to serve the people in your life, but that you also have needs that deserve care. You know how people will just say, feel your feelings, and that's as far as they go. Nobody elaborates. Like, how? If I knew how, I wouldn't be in this predicament, right? Okay, here's 3 simple ways. The first is connect to the sensations in your body. What does your body actually feel? Are your shoulders tight? Is your heart pounding? Does your stomach feel in knots? Name those things. The second way is to just validate the feeling, and then it will pass. Just let the cry happen. Tell myself, I am sad about sad things. And then it will move on. The third is to sing them out. Pick a song that matches how you feel, or pick a song you like to sing and sing it with that emotion behind it. But sing to get those feelings out and felt. Friend. As someone with anxiety, to someone with anxiety, you're my people. Okay, so I think of my feelings like the ocean. And sometimes my feelings are very big and I get 20-foot swells. And if I were to try and run out into that 20-foot swell, it would drown me. So I don't do that. I wait until the ocean is calmer and I get my toes wet. And then I get my ankles wet and I practice until I feel safe enough in the water that I can eventually navigate the 20-foot swells. But you start with feeling the feelings that are safe to feel at that time. So like let a movie touch your heart a little bit more, you know, just a little practice until you become confident in navigating those feelings. The other thing is that body sensation that I was talking about can help because it will be the hard evidence that you are safe and loved and don't have to worry. If you have had some big bad thing happen to you, when you hear the phrase, feel your feelings, sometimes that can just feel threatening, because those of us who are coping with the results of trauma often work very, very hard to keep those parts of ourselves locked away. And when people start talking about feeling feelings, it can start to feel like someone's expecting us to open that door and just let the trauma run havoc over our lives. But that's not it. You can get to that point when you've got the support and professionals you need. But until then, you've got lots of feelings, including joy, including happiness. All of those are worth feeling. Even things like grief and sadness, those are good to feel too. And it doesn't touch on the trauma. We want to feel our feelings. We do not want to relive the trauma.
In your mouth, take your hold, deeper go, baby go, and show yourself. Play your game, I'll be patiently waiting till time runs out. Getting close now. All the stories that you tell with a beautiful imagination. And you shoot it down, but we've been who you're with, yeah, okay then. You go ahead and
I want to talk about something that's pretty nuanced, which social media is not great for, but I'm going to try. Okay, so I come out of community organizing. I come out of radical efforts. I'm used to helping people that do not have access to healthcare. So when I hear people online saying things like, you should not be listening to anybody who doesn't have a license, I understand where that comes from. These are vulnerable people. We all need protection. A license ensures that they have some kind of qualified training and that somebody somewhere is supervising them. Crucial for healthcare. And also, have you tried to get healthcare lately? Have you seen what it's like out there? Have you seen some of the people claiming to be providing that healthcare? They've got licenses, but you wonder sometimes how? All I'm saying is that there is a role for peer-to-peer support, and we can't leave that part out. So I'm getting ready to go to this conference to present my poster to a bunch of academics and psychologists about what body loyalty is. And I've been having excellent conversations that have kind of built it out. So I want to show you what it currently looks like. Here's the body loyalty rubric, because it exists as a tool to help you evaluate which self-care choices you should make. These are all connected to each other so that when you're trying to make a choice, say caregiving, is that task benefiting you or not? Well, does it connect you to community care? If it connects you to community care, then it's great. If it doesn't, then maybe you're being exploited. I also changed the first marrow. It was solitude, and I changed it to quiet, because I think that tells you more about the goal. You don't want isolation, you just want to be still and listen. I'm having a great discussion in the comments around sugar, but it's really hard to talk in such few little bites, so I'm going to try to say it a little bit more in this video. So my argument is basically like, we can't even demonize sugar. Even with all we know about the science, we shouldn't demonize sugar, because if we are looking at things from a trauma and disability informed perspective, there are lots of disabled people, myself included, who rely on sugar to get the calories I need to function, because I can't get them in any other way. Also, as a trauma survivor with CPTSD, I rely on sugar, not just for the dopamine, although that's an added benefit, but there's other ways to get that. No, I rely on it because my nervous system is stuck in fight or flight, which means getting to rest and digest is very hard, which means digestion is very hard. So having simple sugars I can digest is a good thing for my particular body. It's all individual. Being the mom of an autistic kid gave me an appreciation for sensory stimulation that I have never had before. Coming up, I was taught that my body's sensations were either of the devil or a distraction and something to be disciplined. But having a kid whose sensory needs cannot be disciplined out of him, and having to accommodate his sensory needs to relieve his suffering, has made a little light bulb go off in my head and go, you know, this stuff probably impacts me too. And so I can choose what sensory stimulation I expose myself to. So now I have a sensory diet and I surround myself with things that feel good, look good, taste good, smell good, sound good. And it's amazing the difference that can make to your life. You have a lot of control to bring joy in by feeding your senses.
About our future, don't wanna hear about our kids and our wedding day. You are sad in love, but I'm not buying all this pressure of forever, too much to take.
How often do you neglect your own care to punish yourself? Like specifically to punish your body for hurting you or having needs? I do. I know I'm not alone in this. The way I talk to myself, what it takes for me to finally go and take the ibuprofen, whatever. I'm constantly neglecting myself to punish my body for daring to need something. But that approach is like a child reacting to antagonism. And instead I should be reacting like an adult who hears a warning signal. Because that's what pain and body needs are. They are the warning signals of our systems. I mean, something is going wrong and needs attention before the whole thing blows up. Your body isn't trying to hurt you. It's asking for your help.
Good morning. What are you going to do today that is body loyal? What are you going to do to show your body that you are trustworthy and you will care for it? Maybe your body really needs more rest today, and you have to take your body's side over whoever wants you to do something that's not restful. Maybe you need to eat certain foods today, and you have to take your body's side over people who tell you you shouldn't be eating those foods. Maybe there's some kind of activity you need to do, and you have to take your body's side over the ways in which it's hard to do that activity. Your body is the only ride or die you're really ever going to have in this life. When your body dies, so do you. So take care of your ride. Do something today that's body loyal.